All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Coffee Q&A, your daily dose of coffee Q&A here on the OnoCoffee channel. I'm Jay, your host. We're here Monday through Friday. Well, most Monday through Fridays, 10 a.m., talking about coffee. So today we're talking about this, the Espro Cafetière à Pistot, also known as a French press. The French call it Café à Pistot rather than French press. And I'm guessing that because it's printed on both sides with French and English, it must mean that this is a Canadian company. Is that true? Is that true? Oh, I don't know why, but it does say designed in the United States, made in Taiwan. So nothing to do with Canada. I have no idea why it's in both French, but you know what? It's much more sophisticated to walk around saying, I need my coffee from a Café à Pistot. A Café à Pistot. Really wish I could have learned French better. Like, it'd be nice to be able to, actually it'd be nice to curse in French. You know, my favorite part of the whole Matrix series is when the Merovingian is like cursing in French. Very nice, very nice. Mom, good morning to you, man. How's it going? All right, so the other day I was at Williams-Sonoma. So there's a Williams-Sonoma not too far from where I live. Actually, it's close to where the old shop used to be. And it's really close to the photo shop that I like to go to. But so I usually go to the photo shop maybe once a week or so. And sometimes I'll swing by the Williams-Sonoma just to see what they have and to see if they have anything in the discount section. Now, sometimes I'm really lucky. Like the one time I got the Technivorm, super cheap. And I was like, oh, I can't. It was in their clearance section. I was like, oh, I can't pass that up. So I bought it. And then the other day when I was there, I just saw this and I was like, oh, I heard about these, but I never seen one. And they had it there, and I get a discount at Williams-Sonoma because they have this thing called the Pro Chef program. So if you qualify for the Pro Chef program, they give you 20% off almost everything. Not everything, but almost everything. And so, like when I got that Technivorm, I had the discount from the clearance plus the 20% Pro Chef discount. And I was like, well, I can't pass that up. But this Cafetière à Piston, not Pistot, Piston is made by a company called Espro, as you can see here, people that are taking my company's name, the P5. There's actually a number of different Ps. I have not figured out what the different Ps are. There's a P5, there's a P6, there's a P7, and the P7s, I think, are only stainless, but they come in colors. The P5 has this glass and a stainless. But the P5, it's interesting because the stainless, you would think that the stainless would probably cost more. But the stainless at Williams-Sonoma was the same price as the P5. So P5 stainless, P5 glass. They were the same price. The 18-ounce is $45, $44.95. And then the 32-ounce is $49.95 for $50. They didn't have many left, so I had to ask the lady, and she went to the back, and she said, oh, we do have one of these. And I was like, okay, I'll take that, please. And the nice thing is that, you know, this is my receipt here. I'll show you the cost on it. The cost on it, I ended up paying with tax, $42.36, right? So there was 39. So with the discount, was $39.96. So, you know, that's like almost $10. So, you know, not a bad deal. Not a bad deal. Like that helps to encourage me to buy. But I thought we'd have a first look at this and see what it can do. Why is it better? Is it better than a regular French press like the Chambord or even the cheaper Uffetta from IKEA? So let's have a look. Let's get in here. Espro French press. There it is, nicely printed on the top. So that way you know there's printing. Oops, let me just zoom out a little bit. There's, you know, this is the box. On the side here, they talk a little bit. What sets Espro coffee presses apart from other French presses? And what does? Let's see what they say. Perfectly separates the coffee you want to drink from the grinds you don't. I don't know if the other ones like this Uffetta don't do that. Like the grounds are the Feta or the Chambords, the Bodems, they all seem to separate the grinds from the coffee well enough. Dual microfilters trap sediment and grounds at the bottom of the brewer to stop overbrewing. I'm not sure if I've ever really experienced too much over brewing in a French press because, you know, all the coffee is at the bottom and it's not really circulating. So I don't know if that's, I should have done it in French. They had you French. Qu'est-ce que c'est que la cafetière à piston puis Espro de toutes les autres? I better stop that before the French-speaking world comes and, you know, burns me at the stake or something like that. Double silicone lip seal. So there's a lip seal, double jaune en lèvres en silicone, ultra fine micro mesh. So I guess this looks, at least in the picture. Okay, so I've not seen this. I've not seen it. I've not really examined it. I saw the display. I was like, oh, that's cool. Let me buy it. I did not actually inspect it. So this is really all just a first thing. So based on what I'm seeing here, it makes me wonder, is this a nylon mesh or is it a stainless steel mesh? I'm presuming that it's a stainless steel mesh, but it doesn't look definitive there. Oh, nice little biscotti. Why Italian for a French press? I don't know. Okay, oh, here's some directions. We have our press, put the coffee in, add the water, stir, form, and then you put the lid on. I can't tell if the lid is pressed down or not. It looks, look at that graphic. That doesn't seem very, oh, it is. You can see it. Okay, I can see it now in the Zoom. Naked to my eyes, I can't see because and then the press after 4 minutes. So we're going to do that. That's our typical brew ratio is the 4 minutes. So let's get into it now. Ooh, there we go. Now here's a question. Why is it like upside down when you open it this way and it's right side up this way, right? I don't understand that design decision. Caution, hot service, contents are hot, hold by handle. Is this hot? Does it have a heating device inside? Ooh, Espro, enjoy your Savrez votre café. Nice. Little like finger holes here. I can put my, oh, so it's folded. And then this is, okay, gosh, this is well packed. Some caution here on, you know, don't put it over your head. What else is in the box? What's in the box? Okay, that's enough of that box. And here is the French press, the cafetière à piston, little baggie. I'll put this on your head also. Oh, it's not. I like the design. I think it's a very attractive design. There's some paperwork inside, so let's have a look at that. The one thing about this, it is, wow. It's, wow, that's snug. Oh, and there's also some paper here. We have to remove this paper. Twist to unlock and separate. Twist to unlock. I'm going to guess, just based on this, and again, I have not seen much of anything. I guess you're going to put the, no, I think the lady that I know, Williamson, she said, do not put the coffee inside here. So we're not going to put the coffee inside. These are double filters so that, and there's little locks here, right? So you have to match. See that? There's that. And then there's this. See that? Yeah. And I guess we have to match them. Okay, so they will twist into place. So you have to, there's a little channel. There's a little channel here, right? Can you see that? Okay. And that goes in there, and then you click it like that. Okay, that's, and there's a cavity there. But I think you still put the coffee in the bottom. But let's have a look at the instructions because, you know, I'm criticized by people that say that I don't use the instructions and I don't wash the gear before I use it. It should be clean. All right, here it is. Espro Coffee Fresh French Press P5. Again, I still don't understand the difference between P5, P7. Oh, but that's another thing. The P7, they had the P7 at Williams-Sonoma. So for P5, whether you're using the stainless or this, the same price. So $50 essentially. But the P7, $120. I was like, whoa, I am not spending $120 on a French press. Not when Ufetta is $24. Right. All right, let's have a look at our, wrong one. Espro French Press P5, featuring Espro patented dual microfilters to seal out grit for a clean, rich cup of coffee. Okay, so that is one thing that I think that, is perhaps the downside of French press, right? The French press, a typical French press, and this Ufetta is a cheaper version of like the Bodum, but the Bodum is essentially the same, right? The same kind of, almost the same components. Just you can just tell by the feel that the Bodum is a little bit higher quality, right? But anyway, stainless steel. They've got this cross member for structure. They've got a metal mesh stainless filter, and then this press plate, right? That gives it rigidity. It's all for, so when you're pressing down, it of course doesn't collapse. Now, this coarseness of a mesh filter allows a lot of the minor sediments to flow through. It also allows the essential oils to come through. And to me, and some people, of course, it can be a little bit gritty, and it will leave a little bit of coffee residue or sediment at the bottom of your cup. So it's not good to the last drop, right? If you do the last drop, it's kind of like, no matter how nice the coffee is. But to me, that is part of the reason that you have the French press, right? The French press has that extra sediment and the unmolested essential oils of the coffee, which gives it its character, right? Like those are all filtered out with filter papers when you're doing pour overs and things like that. And those are just different ways of enjoying the coffee, right? There's different methods of enjoying the coffee. And I don't know if you necessarily want to filter it out for French press. I mean, if that's the case, maybe you should just be using some other device that doesn't cost $50. Right? George is with us. Good morning. I believe Espro hypes their approach as being work in progress. So perhaps the P refers to generations that they have offered. That could be. Yeah, 125 is a bit nice. All right. So, back to the directions. We need to look at directions, right? I'm a guy, so we're very bad at looking at directions. Okay, so making your best coffee. Twist to lock dual microfilters together, screw the rod, cover, blah, blah, blah. Measure grounds to your preference using the brew guide. Add grounds container, pour hot water, stir with a spoon. Wait, plus, okay, that's not what we want. We want to know, where do we put the coffee? Okay, so here, let's look at this. We have a little bit of diagram here. Put it all together, add the coffee. I guess you add the water. And then you so it works the same. You don't really do anything different. It's just the filter is a little bit different. And then they have a little bit of the brew guide here talks about coffee roast, max fill coffee, max fill water, min fill. Okay, we're not going to worry about that. We don't need that. We know what we're doing, right? Because, we're guys. And, we don't need to read directions because what good would that be? I can totally start a 737 without using the directions. All right, let's make sure we got the hot water going. So we're going to take our French press and we're going to measure out. We're going to use our normal ratio. This is a 32 ounce. We're only going to make 12 ounces in it because that's all we really need. So let's get us some scale. Our trusty scale is back. Turn that on, tear that out. And today I'm kind of out of coffee regular, so I'm just going to use our espresso blend, the Espro 99. So I got it here in the hopper. See if we got 13 grams. This should give us nice and chocolatey with fruitiness, and should be rather fun to drink in a French press. I actually have to do some roasting today. Okay, good. We got 24 grams, and we're going to bring out our favorite Barazza Virtuoso, the 20-year-old grinder. And of course, we're going to make sure we set it to our coarse grind setting. So we're going to take it, turn it on, and go all the way until it turns off. And then go back one, and that gives us full coarse. Now we're just going to take that in and drop it. Uh-oh. All right, there we go. What I like about this coffee, and I'm a big natural fan, right? So I can smell the fruity aromatics coming off the 30% of natural coffee we're using for this blend. And I do love that. I'm really a natural fan. Like I love natural processed fruity coffees. The more blueberry, the more happier I can be. As you can see, fairly coarse. We're gonna take that now and put that in here. Just dump it in, all good. Then we're gonna put this on the scale and tear it out. Okay, so we got a full rolling boil with the kettle, and it says that we're going to use a spoon. So we'll use a spoon to saturate. Why not? Why not? So get the bar spoon out and get the fire off, and we're going to go pour right into it. We're going to set our timer to 4 minutes. Okay, and I guess we're ready. Turn off the heat, and here we go. We're going to do a little bit of a pour. 150 grams, that's good. Now let's do what they say we'll do. We'll add this stirring. We'll stir that a little bit. Good. Normally what I do at Espro is I'll just kind of like swirl it just to make sure that, and that's really just to make sure that all of your grounds are fully saturated. That's really the key. Now we're going to go in. It's been, oh gosh, I've got to turn the button. Now we're going to go in with, and bring it to our total 350 degree. Okay, 355, 54, that's all right. And so let's take that off the scale. We no longer need the scale because, you know, we've already poured all of our coffee. Now this goes in here as thus, and the silicone seal seals tight to the rim, which is different than the Uffetta and the Bodum, is that, you know, that this seal is held by silicone, whereas this one is just the friction of this springy looking thing, right? Okay, let's put that on top there. We'll just seat it down, and then I'm just going to push down until, as you can see, it just starts to touch, right? And I only do that because I like that little practice. Just press down a little bit on the coffee bed just to ensure that it stays saturated. Because sometimes, you know, especially with very fresh coffee, it can float above the water and a portion of your coffee is no longer in contact or is not truly in direct contact with your water. So it's not really getting as extracted as it could. So just push that down and yeah. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to say we dilly-dallied for about 30 seconds. So we'll wait till the timer reads 3 minutes, 30 seconds. You can see the camera that I'm using up here. All right. So that's the Espro. Will it be good? I don't know. I hope it will be. Will it be different? Who knows? Let's see. We're going to look for clarity. Like if we remember from yesterday's video about the three-way brewing, we're going to see like how clear will this coffee be? Will this filter work to the point that it's bringing you clarity, approximating a paper filter? And then the question will be, if that's the case, the question is, do you really want that? Now, I'm not necessarily for or against it. You know, I'm more about like just exploring the expressiveness of a brew. So what do you do when you're brewing something like this? What are you doing while you're waiting? I'm curious to know. Like here, I just have to find a way to talk enough. But a lot of times when I'm, upstairs making breakfast or something, I'm actually making breakfast. Or sometimes I'm not doing anything, I'm just waiting. And here's something that's interesting. I don't know if you can see this very well, but I can see it very well closely. That silicone seal is really kind of strong because I can see here there is, oh yeah, you can see it better there. There's buildup and condensation below that silicone line, but not rising above. I don't recall whether or not there's anything corollary with the other style of French press, but to me, this seems like a unique phenomenon. I can see a little bit here, so it's probably there is some heat coming through the mesh somehow, but just to see the condensation is just an interesting thing. I don't know if that means anything better or not. Okay, so we've reached the 30-second point. So let's start to press. Let's press it out. So we'll put that here and just press down. Oh, that was fairly simple. Very little resistance. Sometimes you get a lot of resistance when you're dealing with French press. And one thing you want to pay attention to here, let me show you. And here you can see they say Espro, but the one thing you have to watch is because the glass is floating in whatever holders, you want to make sure it's centered so that it's easier to pour. And then also in the cap, there's typically a mesh. You want to look for the mesh. See that mesh right there? You make sure that mesh is there. Otherwise, it just flows. It's just more difficult to flow. All right, let's pour. Now, because it's a 32 ounce and I only have 12, you do have to tilt it quite a lot. Okay, there is our coffee. Now it's still cloudy. Like initially, you look at it, it's still cloudy. So that tells us the filtration it's a double filtration, but it's not stopping the minor sediments, right? Like, which I'm not against. I mean, I think that I want the minor sediments to come through because to me, like I said before, to me that's the hallmark of the French press. Let me pour more of this. Oh, there's still a lot of liquid in here that's not filtering through. So while the brew ratio of 350 milliliters of water and 24 grams of coffee to make a 12-ounce cup is still accurate, to get it out of here, actually, we can't get it out of here. It won't come out. Look at that. Like there is a significant amount of the coffee still left in the device that's not being filtered out. Now, I don't know why that is. If I shake it, I guess it will come through the filter. So I think our brew ratio is correct, but we're just not getting the full dose. So you're going to have to well, how much is left? Let's have a look. Let's take this cup, put that on here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tear this out, and then let's remove the one thing about this silicone thing is, wow, it is really tight. Like that's why the steam wasn't escaping. Now let's look here and see what happens. Oh, it is stainless. I forgot to check that, but it is stainless. Okay, nice. And fairly clean, but that's probably because there's a lot of water, a lot of brewed coffee. Look how much water, look how much brewed coffee there is left. Okay, let's go back here and look here. We're going to pour this and try not to pour with too much of the... Okay, so here's something for you to consider. 135 grams. This is a 6-ounce cappuccino cup. There's about 5 ounces left coffee that's being prevented from escaping the 32-ounce French press. So you're really only getting 27 ounces of coffee, more or less, maybe 26, right? But that's a bit, like if I use the Ufetta, I can pretty much get the entire 12 ounces out of the brew Even with the Chambord, the bottoms, you can do the same thing. This one, because of its design, traps some of the coffee in there. So even though your coffee brew ratio is correct, you're only getting what is that, even 6 ounces? Now the coffee, nice. There's a brightness. There's nice, fruity tones to it. It's pleasant enough. But, you can only get half of the coffee out if you're using 12 ounces, right? So if you bring bigger sizes, I guess that's the thing to consider. You're going to be brewing more larger brew batches, consuming more coffee. So, for example, if you want to have a 12-ounce drink, you now have to brew for 18 ounces unless you want to filter it out later. Now, if you're cheap like me, it probably would filter it out. Just get a little mesh strainer in. But then that kind of defeats the whole purpose of this product of making it easier. It makes it more. You have more difficulty. So that's a bit surprising. Like I would have expected it to. And now let's taste this one that has all the sediment that we didn't separate out. You can see some big floaters. Now, how does that taste comparatively? Oh, there's definitely a big difference. Now, there's a big difference. And I think part of that is also because it's sat together longer, so there's more extraction happening, right? So we pulled this at 4 minutes. Maybe we've been talking too much, and it's been 5, 6 minutes, 7 minutes even. So you can definitely tell the difference that it's a heavier extraction, less appealing. Nice. I don't know. This coffee is a little bit on the lighter side for our roasting. I think I would like it to be like for French press. I want something deeper. I want a little more oomph, right? A little more body, a little more base, a little more chocolate. This is nice and light and fruity. Strangely enough, it's very different than how it turns out as an espresso. I had a comment in yesterday's video. They were like, someone's like, how is it you basically was saying, how is it you've never done head-to-head brewing? And I was like, yeah, and I was thinking that myself because I made that comment in the video yesterday, but I was like, yeah, how is it that I haven't really done that? And I don't know if it's that I haven't done head-to-head brewing in the past, but I guess it's been a long time because we closed the Hammering Cafe in 2021. So I haven't really had to do any of that comparative brewing for a few years. So it's like, the mind, you forget things as you get older. Like it's amazing, like how much you forget. Like as I was going through some photographs the other day, and I was like, I have a recipe somewhere for honey lemon pepper wings, and I was like, and I made them, and I was like, I totally forgot that I would even know how to make that, and I was like, the things you forget, it's crazy. Peter, good morning to you, man. How are you? We're making the French press with the Espro P5. It's a solid. I mean, it is a French press that has double filtration. Now, does a double filtration give us something more? Maybe it's brighter than it would be otherwise, lighter, but the problem with this is that we've got 5 or 6 ounces of our brewed coffee that's trapped in the device's filter chamber. So it's like this is what's trapped in there. And it's like, you have to compensate for that somehow. So again, like I said, if you want a 12-ounce drink, you got to make 18 ounces, right? Which means that you then have to use more coffee. Instead of 24 grams, you have to use, 30 grams or whatever it is, right? So your cost is increasing to get the same experience, and then you're also wasting a bit of it. So that's a strange phenomenon, or just a strange outcome with the Espro. I don't know. $50 versus $24, $25. Twice the price. Does it give you twice the performance? Now, I will say that it feels heavier, it's weightier, it feels nicer. it's nicely made. The components are quite of nice quality. Like if we look at this lid and press system, I mean, it's demonstrably better in quality than this Ufetta from IKEA, right? But are you getting twice the performance? I don't know. I don't know. I think it might be too early to say. Let's look inside here and see if we split the. What is it we see inside? So there's just a little bit of residuals. No, like maybe that's residual oils. And that's another thing. I'm not really noticing. Oops, on the coffee, I'm not really noticing like if there's residual oils floating, maybe very lightly. Maybe the coffee needs to be replaced. George says, did the instructions mention if the Espro is dishwasher safe? That's a good question. And Michael's here, spend the extra money on coffee. All right, let's see here. Is dishwasher safe? I'm presuming that it probably is. Okay, cleaning. Clean the entire press after each use. Pull plunger unit from press container. Completely empty the contents. Twist apart. Hand wash. I said it's a hand wash. All components with bottle brush or sponge. Make sure to remove all the coffee. So I guess it is not dishwasher safe. To be honest with you, I don't even know how to use my dishwasher. Like we have one, and I have no idea how to use it because over the years I've always done it by hand, and I just never got out of that. It's interesting because I was, looking at the glass Von, this type of stem glassware, and the owner was like, it's actually better to put it in the dishwasher. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, hand washing you break more. And I was like, really? It's like, yeah, because, and I get that's true because, sometimes you're just you're moving it around and you just click it into something and you break it. Peter says, I broke in too many French press, so I just buy the cheapest ones. Yeah, I mean, I think that is the takeaway. But one thing that to bear in mind is that, like with the Bodems, we sold a lot of the Bodem Chamboards at Espro, which I really like. I really like those nice quality. It's not terribly expensive, but it's not cheap. Like this is cheap. Like this feels a little bit cheap, right? It does the job, but so if this does the job. This does the job too. It does feel more luxurious. It does feel a little bit more oomph, a little bit nicer. Like you see this cage. It's all like polished. You feel it. Oh, it feels very nice. It feels very luxuriant, right? The whole style is luxuriant, right? With this one, Scandinavian utilitarian, right? It's just here to. I'm just here to make coffee. Dude, right? I'm just making coffee. And yeah, you're right. If you break this at $25, not a big deal. You break this at $50, you're like, oh, man, $50. But I think I'm not sure with this one. I'm almost 100% sure with this one. And I'm definitely 100% sure with the Chambord, with the Bodem stuff, is that you can buy replacement glass. So if you break your French press, dude, this is why I think you should buy from like Chambord or Bodem or a bigger company, because they do have replacement glass. And it's not terribly cheap, but it's also not the same price as buying new. So you can just buy new glass and just replace it. And we carried a glass as well at Espro in the old days. So customers come in and we just sell them new glass because it's like, why? But I do like the feel and the whole style of using glass versus the polycarbonate. Like Bodem had polycarbonate as an alternative, and the polycarbonate works fine as a brewing device. It works fine. The only thing is that after continued use, washing and scrubbing it out, whatever, it gets cloudy, it gets scratched, so it starts to it doesn't look as pretty like this. Like now, right now, it's not so pretty because I just use it. But now, when you clean it all up, it's very pretty. Right? It's pretty to look at. Like you might leave that sitting on your counter. This one, you could leave on your counter if you just graduate from college and have your first apartment. But then, but like I said, replace the glass. And so if you buy those other brands, these off brands that I don't really know the names of them, that are also about the same level of quality as this one, right? If you break those, then you just have to throw them away because I don't even know if you can find replacement glass for them. George says, you break more by hand and also use way more water. Yeah, I know, but I just don't know how to. I just got so used to it. I'm so terrible at that. So terrible. And Peter says, I use my French press now for cold brewing. I think that's a great way to go. Although I just don't know if I personally like the residual sediment that you would have from French pressing a cold brew. I think I like cold brew to be filtered. That way it's nice. It's clear. I like it to be clear, right? I mean, either way, it's as long as you're enjoying it. That's, of course, the most important part of it. All right. All right. Well, I mean, I don't. So Espro, nice, but there's some serious downsides. Like, and to me, the biggest downside is this leftover coffee that's in the bottom of the French press, because it's being prevented from flowing through these double mesh filters and around the silicone gasket. Silicone gasket works amazing in holding it all and separating it all, but the problem is it separates this much. So you have to calculate this overrun into your brewing production because you're going to have to brew more than you would actually use unless you want to filter it separately, which gives you more work. So it's okay. Espro's okay. They need to work on that and try to figure a way to I don't know if you can figure a way out of that, but you know, it just seems kind of wasteful. Like, you know, you're going to spend more money on more coffee and get less drinkable coffee out of it. Yeah. George says, typically if I make a quick pot of cold brew, I just avoid drinking the last few sips. No doubt, no doubt. I mean, that's pretty much what we do with a French press, right? We just kind of, you know, don't finish it all. So Peter says, I press my cold brew and pour it over a filter. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you on that. I hear you on that. Well, I guess that's all I have for you today. The Espro P5, not bad. Not bad. Nice quality build. Interesting filtration. But is it beating the performance of a IKEA product that's half the price? Which I think at $25, this is kind of expensive. I think if you go to IKEA itself, I think it's cheaper, probably 17 or something like that, under $20. Very worth it. Very worth it for just utilitarian cold brew, French pressing, whatever you want to do with it. This one at $50, it has some serious downsides. This being the big one. All right. Thank you, George. I appreciate it, Peter. And Michael, good to see all of you. I don't care too much for sediment. Wait, I don't care too much. Oh, but you like the extra body. Oh, nice. Okay, good. Good. That's what I like about this too. I like the French press because it gives you that extra body from the little bit that minor sediments in there. Plus, it also allows the essential oils to flow through that are prevented from being part of your coffee experience with paper filtration. All right, Mom, good to see you as well. All right, guys, have a great weekend. If you guys are in the Baltimore area, I don't know, our friend Rusty, his wife Amy is actually a Metropolitan Opera level soprano singer opera. So she's coming to Baltimore today to perform with Maryland Opera at Booty Vineyards at 7 p.m., $25. So if you got the time, I'll be there. My friends will be there. So come down, get the chance. Should be a nice time. Lots of Tannhauser and Sound of Music, a whole selection of stuff. Wonderful time. If not, hope you have a wonderful weekend and see you next time.